Capacho.
Good, what's good? This 1K TV, and I'm here with a very important man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
John Dote from Las Vegas Recording Studio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna jump into a few quick questions about you, Mr. Dante.
Before you ask, I gotta say you're a dynamite talent, man.
Thank you so much.
Very
Man.
crisp and clean, to the point, and you're fast.
Yes, sir.
In fact, I lose money off of you because you're so damn fast.
I appreciate that really a lot.
Okay. So the first question's gonna be, what first got you into music?
My father was head of MCA Records for 20 years. My uncle was head of Warner Brothers for 13 years. And back in the 80s and the 70s, they discovered some big hit groups. Probably you wouldn't know them, but the Doobie Brothers. They had the hit Listen to the Music, Tower of Power, Lulu. They did the movie To Sir with Love, starring Sidney Poitier. So I grew up as a child in the Warner Brothers and MCA record label studios, just like what you see here. And I would go into the studio, and I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, and I would always go behind the mixing board and unplug something or short something out. The engineers would go, "Man, get the hell out of from back there." But that's how I learned. I saw the equipment, how they wired it up. So as I grew up, I started getting my own recording equipment and everything, and I just matched what they had, and that's how I built up. So I learned how to work it, made all my mistakes and everything, and got to a point where now today I've got the #1 recording studio in all of Las Vegas, with more reviews than any other studio in the country, and knock on wood, I'm proud of that.
Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Now, if you could change anything about the industry, what would it be?
Take the swear words out of hip hop, talk about what's going on right now, get rid of all the slang words and all that, clean it up, and most of all, like what Eminem does. I like when you guys do a rap, but then you bring in a chick singer and you add a hook to it with their singing, and it's a nice big hook section that just drops you dead because of the hook, and then go back to the rap. So I like it when you do like 8 verses of rap, then come in with a hook, like bring a chick in, maybe she'll do a double, she'll sing a melody that actually is a hook that makes the record even better than the original, than better than just the rap. So if I could add my input, I would go with what I just described, like what Eminem does. That's why he's like the tops, because he knows how to bring in the right artists to fill in the gaps.
Right.
Okay? Like where you're just doing a rap all the way through, that's all cool. But like some point in your song, you want to just break it up and come in with like an 8-bar hook and then go back to the rap again.
Right.
That's what I'm really, but clean it up. You don't have to use swear words to sell a record. You know what I mean? So that's what I would do if I could.
Okay. And we would like to know, what is your creative process like?
As far as
your music, what would you say, like, that you describe what you do?
Well, I went through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010. Here we are in 2020. So I've really watched the whole industry change. I remember Blondie, which is a blonde-headed girl. I don't know if you guys remember Blondie. She was actually doing the first rap back in the 80s, and when she started rapping in a rock record, it wasn't rap, but she started doing this rap stuff on the rock music. I thought that's pretty interesting, and I'll bet you 1,000 rappers picked up on that. They couldn't sing like she could, and they couldn't rap like she did, but a lot of people picked up what Blondie did. So I got to give her credit really for starting the foundation of creating rap with music, but then it crossed over from her rapping to rock music, then came hip hop. Actually, there's a guy named Duffy, a black dude, who I met in LA. This was back in the 80s. And he flew me down to LA from San Francisco, picked me up at the airport, took me to his little dungeon dive office. And he had all these vinyl records that he did. and he actually was the first guy to invent rap. He's from Brooklyn, New York, and rap really was invented in Brooklyn, New York. That's where it came from. So he played me this stuff, and he told me, I go, what is this stuff? You know, this, what do you call this? He calls it, this is before hip hop, he called it rap. And he just looked at me and said, John, one day this is going to be the market. I go, yeah, right, okay. And sure enough, 10 years later, it hit big, and it's been strong. We thought after 7 to 10 years of rap and hip hop, this stuff's going to die down. No way. Right now in 2020, it is the biggest industry in the world. It actually is bigger than rock, bigger than punk rock, bigger than jazz, bigger than top 40, bigger than pop. And another thing about it is I like it when they include pop and top 40 into the hip hop, because that makes it cross over.
Yeah.
The white kids buy it, the black kids buy it, the Asians, the Mexicans, everybody buys it. And I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yes, it did.
All right.
Okay, and who would have been your favorite, well, who was your favorite person to work with?
Michael
would you
Jackson.
say?
Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson.
Of course.
They are the two most humblest people. When you talk to Janet or Michael, and I said, Michael, how's it going today? He's, oh, it's doing really good. I go, huh? It's really good today. Janet, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. But when you put him on stage, bam!
Big stuff.
The baddest performers you'll ever see. Michael is, nobody could ever compete with that. And I promoted his record, the Bad Album, brought it to the charts because back in the 80s there was a lot of controversy about him with children's sexual molestation and all that, okay? So his record sales declined because of that. He was getting all the bad publicity. So his father, Joe Jackson, approached me and said, John, can you help us with this record? And I had the biggest contact in San Francisco who was head of Billboard magazine. He gave me $30,000 to take Janet and Michael and get their record in Billboard, which I did. And it started to turn around. And you know what really offends me is now that he's dead, there's more controversy on all that sexual molestation now. He's got more bad publicity than ever before. And because of it, his record sales since he died has outsold anything that he did when he was alive. So he's big.
One last question. Now, what would you be doing if it wasn't for your music career?
Oh, what would I be doing? Gosh, I probably would have been in the mafia by now.
Oh, God.
Coming from the Bronx, my uncles were all in it, so if it wasn't for the music that led me down the right way, you know, my mother took me and my brother out of the Bronx when we were young because my uncles were all in the mafia, and I went to my brother and I said, I want to be in the mafia, and he went and told that to my mother. My mother got scared shitless out of her pants, and she took us out of New York, brought us to California, and said, and got me my first drum set, gave me piano lessons. My mother groomed me to be who I am today.
That's great.
So without the music, what would you be doing without music? You know what I mean? I mean, I could flip that coin right over now. Who would you be without music? Who would any of us be without music? So music is the fuel that ignites the world. It's a great thing because when you're writing a song, you know, it's like writing a mini motion picture. You're talking about your life, what's going out on the street in the world, this COVID-19 and everything. So without music, you couldn't really tell a story. You would have to either write a book, make an article in a newspaper, and musical is the best tool to get yourself out, to express who you are, and people can relate to you, and that's why records sell. Because people are not capable of putting in words what you guys put into words. So you are the ones that fuel the industry. I wouldn't be anywhere without it.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't be anywhere without you.
True that.
If I didn't have a studio and I didn't have you, we wouldn't have each other. What would we both be doing?
Exactly.
Smoking a blunt.
Doing something other. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, we're here at 1K TV. We appreciate you, Mr. John, for
It's a
real.
pleasure.
We wish you the very best, and we are very grateful to have you
Likewise.
speak with us. And here at 1K TV, we always keep it 1 key Z.
Keep it 1K.
I'm on 1K TV, folks. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. More to come. John Dote, Las Vegas Recording Studio.
CODRED, switch the code on me. Can't get caught up in these streets, niggas told on me. You through your block at night, one deep with the doors open. Never losing my focus, won't let no nigga hold me. CODRED, switch the code on me. Can't get caught up in these streets.